I'm sure that, so you had that age group in mind when you created those.
Yes, yes, because I knew that image is a very key way of learning for them. With image, the lesson you're trying to portray or lesson you're trying to instill in them gets deeply rooted in them when they have an image of what you're talking about, and that's what drove the need for illustration. And then the questions now, because we know that our youths, most times they just gloss through books and all that, but when you have each stop and you have questions, it gets them to go back and maybe have a deeper view or deeper review of the book. And so the questions came in so that each chapter, they have a better grasp of it. They go back and they answer those questions that would help them to better understand the chapter. And then the glossary, because some maybe big technical words were used in each chapter. So we need to get them to understand those.
You can learn new words.
Yes.
What do you think about this? In the Victorian age in the West, most of the books written for young people were, there were books that were talking to or talking at young people about values, about not stealing, not lying, and so on. That changed a little bit later. And the books focused more on entertainment, appealing to the imagination of young people. And even up till now, if you look at the best-selling books out there for young people in the West particularly, even though there's still the underlying theme of good versus bad, evil versus good, and all that, it's more about imagination. It's all about witches and wizards and all that now. Okay, so what do you think about the criticism that in Nigeria we write too many books that talk at young people rather than entertain them? What do you think about that criticism? Those who say that insist that it's one of the main reasons why young people in Nigeria don't really read, because when they open books written by authors like you, and so it's all about don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat, don't, What do you think about that?
Well, I think to some extent I agree with them, but I think there should be a balance. A balance in the sense that, right now what we have is a terrible decadence in our environment, our society, where morals and values don't mean anything anymore. But at the same time, again, people want to have fun, people want to relax and read their books. So I think there should be a combination of fun books.
Balance.
Yes, a combination of fun books and then the books that have value, that talk about these values. So it shouldn't just be books that just entertain them, make them have fun or relax and have fun. It should also have a tint of values added to it. So there should be a balance in it. I think that's my own view. Even though the critics, yes, they have their points. I know that's why a lot of books are not read by our youths. They feel, all they want to tell us
Mommy
about.
And daddy,
yes,
mommy is here again.
This is mommy in the book and all that. But if we have a combination of books where, they can use their imagination so much more, and then there are some values or some teachings also included.
How was your own mind thinking when you wrote this?
I wanted to achieve something like that.
You wanted to strike that balance?
I wanted to strike that balance.
Okay, now as a reader,
yes,
I thought that you were a writer on a mission while I was reading this.
Okay.
It felt more like that. It felt more like you were more particular about passing across those lessons, those values to the reader than any other thing for you.
Well,
is that a correct observation?
Yes, that's the correct observation. Yes, I had a goal in mind. I had a message I wanted to pass across, and that informed the book.
How much did you want to entertain the reader? Was that strong on your mind?
No, it was not as strong as passing on the message I wanted to pass on. It was not. It was not as strong as that.
Wasn't.
I wanted them to get the message.
Okay.
I wanted to pass across.
But now that, I mean, you've started your journey into creative writing, what do you want to do about that? Is it something?
I would try to strike that balance.
Okay.
Ensure that my books, you know, are not so much of teaching and hardcore messages or values to instill into the student or whoever.
But you agree that it doesn't really matter. It just depends on who you are as a writer. You know, I've spoken to writers who really don't want to bother too much about messages. Now, if messages come across while you're reading and enjoying yourself, fine. They're okay with that. But some other writers, it's all about the message they want to send across or pass to the reader, you know. So really doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter, but I want a large number of people to get the message I want to pass across. So if, you know, I cut off those people who I would like to also get it, but who want to have fun, I won't want that. I would want more people to read the book. So I would like to have a strike a balance where people who want to have fun will also get to read the book, and what people also who want to learn will also enjoy the book.
Enjoy, have fun while learning.
While reading, yes.
And all
while
that.
reading the book, yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joy. Against all odds. You know, you got me intrigued up to a particular point. I was wondering, how are you going to finish this story? And, you know, and then it ended predictably, forgiveness and all that.
Okay.
But I like the way you took me to that point.
Okay.
You know, there were a lot of intrigues that led me to the inevitable, so to speak. Some other writers are more mean, and I mean, you just finished the book without that forgiveness happening. Thank you very much, Joy. Thanks for joining us on Channels Book Club.
Thank you for having me.
Looking forward to your next book.